40 or 50,000 items. So we don't have everything. If you come here first and then finish elsewhere, your bottom line is going to be happier. And with inflation that's been so out of control for so long, it's certainly going to help put a dent in that.
Save up to 40% on your food bill every day at your Clinton Save-A-Lot. And as Dave always says,
hope to see you soon.
News time is 7 minutes after 7 o'clock on this Monday. Top of the morning from the newsroom of Regional Radio and DeWittDailyNews.com. I'm Seth Lawrence with this expanded 7 o'clock newscast brought to you by Baum Chevrolet Buick in Clinton, your Silverado headquarters, and brought to you by Connexus, providing fiber internet to Clinton. Learn more at DeWittDailyNews.com. Last week, the Clinton Board of Education approved the promotion of Kara Jensen from curriculum coordinator to assistant superintendent. Jensen told Regional Radio her new job title will allow her to do more within the district.
I mean, it's a great lead-in from the work that I've been doing in Clinton School District for the past 2 years. And I just think now with this partnership that Drew and I have had over the past year, it's a natural lead-in to kind of go deeper into the job responsibilities and the work in the district. I'd say that I think that the job responsibilities that I took on this year, there were more things that Drew was able to share with me and for me to be able to take over in some way. And so I think that was just naturally when Drew stepped into the position of superintendent, being able to form that partnership. So looking forward to next year, I think that will be a continuation of some of that. But I think about director of teaching and learning as kind of usually those positions are a silo, right? Like you are working just within that realm. And this year I've been able to really kind of get into a lot of different areas. And so moving that forward next year just made sense. And I think, again, that partnership that Drew and I have, we're able to kind of work seamlessly in that way. Even this year, working with our director of special education, Carrie Veldman, partnering her with special education, I've done some work even with administrative assistants, looking at our staffing with paraprofessionals. And so that necessarily wouldn't be something I would have done, be given a traditional role of a director of teaching and learning, but that continues into next year and be able to kind of spread and go deeper now. But even when that designation, so let's say Drew is out of the district or Drew, there is some sort of situation, that natural designation of someone then being able to assist in different situations that Drew would need to handle if he were here. So I think it is again, a natural role, not necessarily looking to fill anything else in the unit office. We're not, adding any positions per se, just kind of moving this into that next role.
Superintendent Drew Goebel credits Jensen for complimenting the things he does well and believes she has been a great value added to the district from a curriculum standpoint.
She makes such a good team. Her knowledge of curriculum and instruction and professional development, she is way better at than I am. And I think any good leader needs to understand your strengths and then where someone else can help you. And she brings all that to Clinton, and so much of my position is dealing with finances and bonds and, if we're going to buy school buses or the facility projects or insurance. I kind of joke around with my kids that my job is a lot of the running the business of a school district and the finances. And I work closely with our bookkeeper and payroll and all the other things that need to get done to make a school district happen. The position of the curriculum director or the teaching and learning, I wanted that position even going back to my days when I was at the junior high, because a principal is running around. They're dealing with so many different things. It's difficult to analyze the data, like student achievement data and all the other things that go into running a school. To have that support that Kara brings to the district is such an important position, and she does a fantastic job. And like I said at the board meeting, we make such a good team. I think it makes perfect sense. She was on the negotiation team and helped out there. So she goes beyond teaching and learning, and that was her title was director of teaching and learning, and she does so much more of that. And like she added the assistant superintendent title definitely fits what she does.
Jensen credits the good things going on in the district from a curriculum and achievement standpoint to the educators and is thankful for the positive relationships in the buildings.
I mean, one of the first things I would spotlight is really our educators, because the reason I'm going to say that is because whatever I bring into the district would not be successful if we didn't have a strong group of educators and administrators. And so that I have seen over the past 2 years, I say all the time, we have made so many changes to what we already were doing as strong, but without strong educators and principals to lead that out, my role would not be successful. But some of the things that they have taken on is, yes, really kind of looking at student achievement data in order to move their instruction forward. I think a lot of that is based in relationships that have been built over the past 2 years. You know, being new to a small community, you really want to, in some ways, prove that you believe in the community and the work that we do. And so that was this past 2 years of really making sure to, instill in everyone that the Clinton Community School District is my home as well, whether I live here as a resident or not. And so that I'm really proud of in the work that's been done over the past 2 years.
Jensen points out that even this summer, teachers are going the extra mile for professional development and other initiatives to improve the learning environment for the next school year. She looks forward to many more positive things to come in the years ahead. Prairie Flats Solar Farm has submitted its application to DeWitt County and is ready to begin the process of seeking approval for a special use permit. At the June DeWitt County Board meeting, Elizabeth Weichel, County Zoning Administrator, told the board they have 60 days upon receipt of the SUP fee to conduct the hearings for the application.
Prairie Flats reached out to me. They have already submitted their final application. I'm just waiting for the check to come in. I should ideally have it Friday, which is going to start our 60-day calendar. So Dee and I sat down, put together some dates, and then we have run them back by Prairie Flats Solar to figure out what worked for them. And then I know Markwell had some dates as well, because we need him there as well. And it looks like that the date that came out the best is going to be Tuesday, August 12th, if that works for everyone. I was going to leave that up to you guys. I assume the evening some point.
Board Chair Joe Whitty indicates the full board will hear the testimony from the developer and the public during the process, eliminating the need to send it to the Regional Planning Commission and the Zoning Board of Appeals.
Can we discuss how this is going to work? The only experience I have with these things is the ZBA hearings for the wind farm. There was a moderator, there was an attorney, there was testimony, there was cross-examination, there was all that stuff. Is this going to be similar?
I can tell you what I think Mr. Marco is setting me up. I think, obviously it's not going to go through the 3 steps. The RPC and the ZBA will not hear this. It would come directly to us. For the first time, we would hear all testimony. We would have a court reporter. I thought the applicant would present their application and their case. I suspect that we would still allow for cross-examination. And then anybody who wanted to speak in opposition would be given time, just like they would in a ZBA hearing, cross-examination as well.
State's Attorney Dan Markwell would serve as the mediator of the hearing.
I just remember the lawyer for the applicant during the wind farm thing was extremely aggressive towards people that were giving testimony. Is it going to be like that? Is there going to be a similar situation?
So, if I remember, the applicant had their legal counsel. Some residents had sought their independent counsel, and then the county, the ZBA, had somebody hired to represent the county. I think, Mr. Markwell, you would fill that role for the county board. Is that correct?
Right. They requested somebody to basically facilitate the meeting. So, yeah, I brought in an attorney to do that.
My question is,
Prairie Flats and their representation have limited availability in the 60-day window to have the hearings. Weichel indicates it was tough to settle on a date, but Whitty says there are exemptions to make sure the hearings are able to be completed outside of that 60-day window.
The way it works is that we will have the 60 days will end on August 19th. And so I came up with a list of 5 dates. Problem is, they want their attorney there, and they only had 2 dates out of those 5 that were available, because we have to make the 15-day publication and all that. So we're trying to take that into account, and holidays and all that good stuff. So,
well, correct me if I'm wrong, but the statute requires that we start the hearing in 60 days. If it goes long and we have to take a recess and pick back up a day or a week later,
Particularly if they're not available.
yeah, if they're not available, we would, the requirement is starting within 60 days, right? It's not that we have to conclude.
Right now, the statute does say it has to start within 60 days.
I know there's a proposal that we would have to be completed within 60 days. That never passed. So as of right now, as long as we start it within 60 days, we're good. And then I think at the conclusion of how many days of testimony we would have to hear, we would, as a board, have to make a decision within, I don't know, 30 days.
Yeah.
So there's a kind of a quick turnaround on the final decision, but if we need more than one evening to conduct the hearing, we would just recess and reconvene, then we could pick a date at that time.
Markwell offered his recommendation on how to conduct the hearing, given this will be the first time the full board hears the presentation and testimony rather than the process of the application going through the ZBA and RPC.
Previously with the ZBA, that's what had happened. I mean, this is going to be the first time that the board has done this under the new legislation that was passed, and following that. So this is kind of a different animal. And it's kind of up to the board, and I've talked to some other counties, because the process that Mr. Whitty described, that we normally do with a special use permit, that's not listed for a siting permit. So there's some question, whether we even need to have a court reporter here for that and follow those same rules that we normally would for an SUP, because they completely left that out of the statute. So it's kind of up to the board to determine, what kind of criteria you wanted, and then based on what you're doing, I'll probably get the information from Ms. Weichel, contact their attorney to see, what they're planning on as far as procedures, because I know it's different county to county on how they've done that, and I know some counties are just kind of doing it, exactly the way we've always done it with SUPs, and have a court reporter here and have witnesses. I don't think all of that's actually necessary under a citing, but it's kind of up to you. I mean, my suggestion would be, you're going to have the applications ahead of time and have an opportunity to review that to see if it meets the criteria in the state statute and our ordinance that's consistent with the state statute. And then, certainly if people are here and, wish to give public comment, we'll give up to 5 minutes per person, and that could be lengthened at the chair's discretion, and then let the applicant, present their case and open that up for questions and cross-examination by the board at that point.
Yeah, so I don't know if that answered your question, but, details that probably could be worked out, but I don't see any reason to vary drastically from how we handle the SUPs as far as the applicant presenting their case and allowing the public an opportunity to make their comments as well, and then we would have to come up with a decision within 30 days of adjourning or concluding the hearing.
The board set August 12th as the night for the first hearings. Weichel anticipates multiple solar applications coming soon to the county. News time, 20 minutes after 7 o'clock. June is Men's Mental Health Awareness Month, and as we've heard the last several days on regional radio, a mental health advocate is encouraging men struggling to have the courage to open up and be vulnerable. Tony Kirkman is the executive director of the Piatt County Mental Health Center and says the spouses of men struggling often see and understand the challenges they're facing.
Well, I mean, I've got a lot of one-liners that are stuff like you can track more with sugar than you can with vinegar. There's the old saying that, it's better to live on the corner of your roof than to live under the house of a nagging woman. I think that if you're a loving spouse, you're going to want to speak with positive regard to the behavior and, quite frankly, the potential of the man that you see. We don't do a very good job of seeing the man that we really are. We're always not enough. We're always incompetent. We're always vulnerable. Maybe I should say that. Like, spouses, realize your men are extremely vulnerable. And you have the power to strengthen them or bury them with your words. And so speak that positive regard, strengthen those, speak a lot to those behaviors that you see that you want to be repeated, that positive motivation, set appropriate boundaries.
According to Kirkman, it can be as simple as speaking truth, love, and grace into the men in your life.
Enjoy the quality time. Learn his love language, whether that's physical touch, which most men, that's what it is. Words of affirmation. I guess that physical touch, understand the complexity of what a physical, intimate relationship is. It's not just physical. It means so much more to a man than that. It's emotional regulation. It's connectivity. It is secureness. When people are physically intimate with men, it is a validation that the relationship is solid. It's not a means to an end. It's actually the end. Like we have close intimacy, and that's just not a physical thing for us. Gosh, speak truth, speak love, speak grace.
There are many stigmas men face about being tough and showing emotion, which can be detrimental to the ability to address mental health wellness. Kirkman says it's not a weakness to step out and admit you need support.
Reality that just because you're a man doesn't mean that you are not susceptible to mental health. The stats show that 1 in 5 adults has a diagnosable mental health issue. We also know that life is hard, and it is not a sign of strength of how much that you can handle, but it's a sign of strength of when you can understand when you're under-resourced and be, quite frankly, man enough to reach out for support. We're always teaching somebody and setting an example for somebody, and so I'd much rather set the example that there is strength in collaboration. There's health in community. And really, even the stats show that if we isolate ourselves or we repress things, they actually will exacerbate the very symptoms we are trying to solve.
Visit PyattMHC.org or find the Piatt County Mental Health Center on Facebook for more information. News time, 24 minutes after 7 o'clock on this Monday. The Federal Communications Commission, or FCC, in Washington, D.C., Friday afternoon approved the transfer of radio stations license now held by the Miller Media Group. This means the sale of the stations to Hart Media Group, LLC of Rochester, can close. Miller Media Group owner Randall J. Miller announced the pending sale of his stations in Taylorville and Clinton in March, then applied for the FCC for license transfer approval shortly thereafter. Both entities expect to close on the sale in late July, with Hart taking possession on August 1st. Included in the sale are Miller's 6 Taylorville-based radio stations and their online daily newspaper, TaylorvilleDailyNews.com, and his 2 Clinton-based radio stations, plus their online daily newspaper, DeWittDailyNews.com. The sale will culminate Miller's 52 years in the radio business, 43 in ownership, almost 33 in Taylorville, and 18 in Clinton. He will stay on after the sale, serving as a consultant to Hart for a year. News time, 25 minutes after 7 o'clock on this Monday. We'll continue on next on the morning show.
Looking for a new Silverado? This is Scott Baum from Baum Chevrolet Buick here in Clinton. We have a good selection of new Silverado inventory. We have Silverados in 1500s, 2500s, and 3500s with several trim levels, custom, LT, RST, LTZ, and yes, even high countries. All our inventory is priced for our summer savings season. Baum Chevrolet Buick. Together, let's drive. BaumChevroletBuick.com right from the start.
Experience the power of better connection with Connexus Fiber Internet. Connexus delivers ultra-fast, reliable speeds to keep you connected at the speed of life. Whether you're working from home, streaming your favorite shows, or gaming with your friends, Connexus has you covered. Say goodbye to buffering and dropped calls and say hello to fiber fast internet. Ready to upgrade your connection? Sign up today by clicking the Connexus icon at DeWittDailyNews.com. Nothing connects us like Connexus.
News time, 26 minutes after 7 o'clock on this Monday. Again, I'm Seth Lawrence with you folks today for this expanded local newscast. Thinking about local foods, farmers markets, and you pick locations this summer across Illinois.
We're going to head to specialtygrower.org/shop local or head to your Illinois Farm Bureau Affinity app and find Shop Local there. Both of these are going to be your local food directory. You can highlight for geographic locations, products, business models. So if you want to go on a peach tour, you can highlight peaches and go to all these peach farms. If you want to find farmers markets, you can search that way. It's a really great way to explore your own community or the entire state. We have over 3,000, almost 4,000 food and farm businesses registered in the system. So again, specialtygrowers.org/shoplocal.
That's Regella Scavuzzo, who serves as the Associate Director of Food Systems Development for the Illinois Farm Bureau. Nutrient Stewardship Field Days continue throughout Illinois this summer, with county farm bureaus playing a key role, says Illinois Farm Bureau Environmental Program Manager Benna Pegg.
I think that's kind of the beauty of the program, is that a lot of these projects are created by local county farm bureaus and local farmers that are participating with their local county farm bureau. So a lot of them are going to be really specific to what each county decides they want to focus on. And I think that's a really cool aspect of this project, and that it's not going to be the same across the board. It's going to be really unique depending on what people decide is most important to their county and their needs. And I think there's a lot of creativity in that. Like, as you can see, there's almost no two that are the same. They're very diverse.
Illinois Farm Bureau created a nutrient stewardship grant program in 2015. For a list of projects, visit ilfb.org/field days. News time is 28 minutes after 7 o'clock here on this Monday. Coverage of news is brought to you by Baum Chevrolet Buick in Clinton, your Silverado headquarters, and brought to you by Connexus, providing fiber internet to Clinton. Learn more at DeWittDailyNews.com.